Hello Aries, for this session I'm going to use the Morgan Greer Tarot again by Paul Foster Case and Arthur Edward Waite with an E at the end. For the supportive cards, the magical spell cards by Lucy Cavendish. As usual, already shuffled, so now I am getting that just like that. Okay. Alright, so what do we got going on here? Okay. Alright, so the overall situation here, we have the Judgment card. And I'm kind of getting like this is like the opening of a door in a sense. I feel like this is the next level or the next stage. This is going through to the next part of the situation. I feel like this is unlocking some things. Like it's something happened here. You're starting off with this with three major arcana. You got the Tower, Strength, and then the Emperor. Emperor, I swear, lately, the last month, I want to say, he's been in a lot of personal readings and other readings. I've been like, I see this card a lot lately, so I'm thinking this is something to do with the Taurus time frame. Although, by the time you're watching this, we're out of Taurus. We're almost out of Taurus now when I'm doing this. But I feel that whenever you're watching this, this is either going to hit or not. This is meant for you to see when you're seeing it. So that's one of the reasons I'm not using months and stuff like that anymore, because it seems like people are getting caught up on the dates, which the readings come to you when you need them. So I'm trying to be careful not to pigeonhole them into a certain time frame. But I am getting like there's this like overseeing, dedicated effort to look out for the whole situation. And I feel like in this reading especially, what we're talking about here is like something happened, something got turned upside down, and you're working through it, but you and whoever else this is dealing with is coming together as a collective whole. Like what's best for everybody. You're looking at it like what is going on. How do we handle this in a way that suits everybody? This is like about the whole picture, not about how it just affects you, how it affects me, how it affects us, but beyond that, how does it affect everybody else around us? What's going on here? I almost feel like this is a family situation for a lot of you. Something got turned upside down. And I feel like some of you might have to move unexpectedly. And this is one of those things where you're looking at, like, all right, we're going to persevere through this, but if we're going to move on to the next level, we have to think about how this not only affects me and you and us together as a unit, but how this affects everybody else, like who we need to be near. How is this going to affect other people in the family? How is this going to affect friendships? Like, what do we need to do to make sure this keeps going in a situation where we're getting better and not ending up in the same situation or one that's worse? Okay. And I'm not sure about the moving, like why, because it doesn't seem like it's defined exactly, but like for some reason there's like an unexpected move. Now this isn't for everybody though. For some of you, instead of it like something unexpected, like an unexpected, I'm seeing a baby. For some of you, I'm literally seeing a baby. So I'm not seeing like a pregnancy. I'm seeing a baby. So how that affects, I'm not sure. This is unexpected though. So how a baby would be unexpected, I'm not exactly sure. But it's like if I don't know. There's an but it could be like finding out you're going to have a baby, or there's going to be one coming into the family. Someone's going to be having a baby, and it's unexpected, and you're not really sure how it's going to be handled or dealt with. This is unexpected news, definitely, and how this is going to affect your family. I feel like this is more family for most of you. It could definitely be like relationships that feel like family. These are important relationships. If it's work, if this is work for you, you're in a situation where you are very close to the people you work with. And it's very much a very tight-knit, looking out for each other type group, if it's hitting for you that way. Okay. So with this, I feel like you're very careful about communicating and what goes next. The Emperor, I'm noticing, which I haven't noticed before, he is holding the sword here. And you're going to notice he's holding it by the blade. Which makes me feel like you're taking some of the pain on for yourself. Almost like you're going to hand the sword to someone else. And you're taking the risk on. You're taking the risk on. But the way this card is in between you and the other person that you're making this decision with. So I feel like you and the other person you're in this relationship, you and somebody else, because I know this could hit for different people, different ways. So you and somebody else are kind of holding this together. You're getting ready to hand this over to someone else, but you're taking the risk on yourself. Because you're feeling like it's going to give the other person you're handing this over to the advantage, the greater advantage to move forward and help you all out. Like help out the whole situation collectively. I feel like you're taking on the risk though. And you're handing over this sword, which makes me feel like you're handing over, like, they're going to take care of something, and you're handing it over completely to them. You're putting the risk on yourself, like you're giving them the trust to handle this. Okay. So, I feel like when the Two of Cups comes in for the environment, I feel like this is signifying you are handing over trust to someone else, because you need help. And you can't do all this by yourself. So somebody else, you're handing over some responsibilities completely. You're still involved, and you're still a touch point on what's happening, but the whole process, somebody else is handling it. Okay. So this is how we're starting out. I feel like this is, like, you're very, very, even though this is kind of like a shocking situation, you're handling it well. There's a lot of dignity here. A lot of dignity. You're not freaking out. Not in the outside, at least. I don't really feel like you're freaking out on the inside, either. I feel like you're handling it one step at a time, and you're just like, as it comes forward, a challenge is presented, you deal with that. You might be aware of other pieces coming in, but first come, first serve. First come, first serve. As it comes forward, handle it, categorize it, move on. Next one, handle it, categorize it, move on. I feel like it's kind of like an assembly line. I don't feel like there's any order about which one's getting handled first. It's just as it comes towards you, handle it, categorize it, move on. I feel like it's very orderly that way. You're handling it very gracefully. The word grace is there, of course. But, and I feel like you might be a little sweating a little bit, but not in the sense of like it's overcoming you. Just kind of like, here it comes, all right, let's deal. And then the next one's like, oh boy, here it comes, okay, and you just handle it. Like it's a little bit stressful, but nothing beyond what you can handle. Nothing that's freaking you right out. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Now there's an unforeseen piece here. So, what goes on here? The unforeseen piece. This Ace of Swords pops up. This was face down. I feel like the sword you hand over, this situation you're handing over to someone else, I feel like they take complete control of it. And you had to have the help. You had to do this. I feel like this might be a little uncomfortable because it's one of those things where I feel like you normally handle it yourself. But the situation is so large or so intense, you have no choice but to do this. You have to hand over some of the power. You have to. I just don't feel like there's like a two ways about it. When you're looking at this, when you're in it, you're just like, I have to. This came out of the blue, came out of nowhere. This is what the situation is. I have to hand over some of the power to someone else. It's not going to work out if I don't. I have to. You feel like there's no other way. That being said, I feel like they're doing their best, and they're handling it true to themselves. Like they really feel is the correct way to handle it. I feel like your viewpoint's a little different than theirs. And they're trying to be non-biased. and they're kind of like, I feel like they're not seeing things, or there's something a little different. The way they're handling it is different than the way you would. I definitely feel that. There's a little bit of a political pull. Like, I feel like they're kind of like trying to appease everybody. You got the Two of Swords on their side. So I feel like they're kind of perplexed in some situations. But they're taking care of it. They are handling the situation. I feel like there's stumbling blocks. I don't feel like you're able to help. I feel like you're kind of watching from a distance, and you're seeing things happening, but you're kind of stuck. There's nothing you can do. Like, I feel like you can't really give advice. You can't really take a part of the burden on yourself. You have to let them handle it. I do feel like they're handling it successfully. There's a couple things that happen that they're perplexed, but they're continuing on. We do have this situation where it's kind of like you got the Seven of Rods and you got the Empress. Seven of Rods is more on their side. The Empress is more on your side. But it is like this part comes together. This is how you're coming together. And it kind of overlaps on both sides. Like, I feel like they're very, very much keeping afloat and keeping things going. You're also keeping together and keeping afloat and handling what you need to handle on your side. But I feel like they're handling that piece on their own. You're also very, graceful and very, like, appreciative of them doing this. Like, I feel like there's a cooperative effort here. You're very aware that they're not handling it the way you would handle it. I thought I was going to get away with this one without a yawn. I swear I thought I did. They're not handling it the way you would handle it, but you definitely feel like they're doing their best, the best they can, and you can't step in. You just, at this point, there's too much going on, or you're just not able to step in and do it yourself, or to, like, give advice. I feel like in this situation, if you could give advice, you'd actually be able to also take it on yourself, and you can't. So for that reason, you can't get involved in it, and you can't say how you would. You're realizing, though, that the way they're going about it doesn't feel like the way you would do it. But you're also realizing they're succeeding. You have to trust them to do this, and they are doing that. It's just different than what you would do, so it's a little uncomfortable. But you're still appreciative because you know they're handling it. Okay. I do feel like it's hard mostly because you're kind of stuck in a spot where you have to watch and you can't do. But you are seeing it come to fruition. You are seeing it go in a successful way. The fruition card, fertility, I should say. Fertility card, which I want to say fruition. I feel like you're seeing it work out. You're seeing that this is going to work out. I also feel like this card's coming up on their side too because they're aware that you would handle this differently. They're feeling a little insecure at some points because I feel like they know they're making some missteps, but they're also kind of like aware that, like, well, they're not you, and you might have a bit more experience than they do, or there's something that you would do a little differently. You might, or like you have more success in this arena. You're just better at certain things. I feel like they're addressing that, and they're aware that they're making missteps, but they're not trying to make missteps. They're just making missteps, and they're catching them afterwards and picking the pieces up where they can. I feel like there's a little anxiety on their side because they're knowing they're not doing this perfectly, but they are aware that they're doing their best and that you're aware of that. And that I don't feel like they feel judged, but they're very aware that this could be handled better. They're just at the stage of the game where they are in life. This is the best they can do. So I don't know. I feel like they're aware that they're doing the best they can. But I feel like they're kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place because it has to be done. They want to help. They are helped. They have to help, type thing. But I feel like they're kind of feeling a little inadequate here and there, only in the sense of, like, when they see the situation as a whole, they kind of think that you would have better ideas, or they'd like to look to you for help on this, but they're aware that they can't right now. And I feel like they're kind of like they're trying their best to work through it and handle it themselves, and they are succeeding. But I feel like there's like this need to talk to you that they can't because they're aware that there's too much going on. They just have to handle it themselves. Okay. it seems like a complicated situation for Aries. Because I feel like things are breaking down here. Things are changing. There's an unexpected change. The Tower comes in, but you're handling it. You hand over this ability. It's part of it you have to hand over. I feel like there's no choice. And you're watching it from the outside. You realize it's working out. It's not working out exactly how you would do it, but it's working out. And it not only is good enough, but it kind of has to be good enough. And you're thankful for that. You're thankful for the help. You're thankful that it is moving forward. And I don't feel like you're judging the other side at all. I feel like there's just a little anxiety in the sense of like you'd prefer to handle it yourself, but you can't. So for the way it's being handled, you're very thankful and moving forward. I feel like you're just like you're aware of how it's being handled, and you're also aware that the person who's doing this or people that are doing this are doing the best they can, and you're very thankful for that. I just feel like normally you'd step in and help or handle it. It's just that I feel like the pressure here is because you can't. All right. But it does work out well. I feel like there's a lot of compassion. The Seven of Rods a lot of times for me means like success with effort, success with a little bit of heartache, success with a little bit of strain. It takes a bit to get there, but it's continuing on in a successful path. It's just a little more stressful and labored than ideal. Okay, so this I do feel like it's going. As we're moving out of this time frame, it's going in a good direction. I feel like they're going to continue to handle it because they have to. I feel like they're probably in most cases going to see it to the end. The other person you've handed over the gauntlet to, because you had to, they're going to see the situation through to its end. Like I don't feel like you're going to be able to pick it back up from them. I feel like they have to take it all the way to the end, especially even though you might become more in a position to take it over if you had to. It's better if they continue on with it because they seem to be more connected and more involved in the process that is developed through them, that they need to kind of feel it through. That way it doesn't have to, there'd be a lot of explaining and picking up of pieces and research if you were going to take it over yourself. So that's for that reason I feel like they take it through to its fruition, to the end. And it does work out. I just feel like it's more uncomfortable for you to have to sit back and watch. Or I shouldn't say watch, you don't have you're not able to take it over yourself. And it's just a little uncomfortable. But I feel like you're very thankful and happy, and it is working out. I think this whole point of this reading is to realize that when you hand this over, it is going to work out, and it is going to feel a little uncomfortable, but there's going to be success here. And the other side, I don't feel like I don't feel like there's any animosity or anything about that. I feel like this is good for them. They're learning a lot. I feel like they're going to be more in the position you are later on in life, and this is a great building block for them. They're getting a lot of confidence, but also a lot of experience, and this is gonna help them a lot more when they need it later on in life. Okay, so it's purposeful. All right, I think we've kind of come to the fruition of this one. I like that word at the moment. So, of course, if you'd like a reading from me, go ahead, shoot me an email, james4astral@gmail.com. James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you. You have a good day.